Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. I had an opportunity to watch the CW's Batwoman on Tuesday night in its rebroadcast. And after watching the CW's Batwoman, I can say that it's not the complete SJW cringe fest I thought it was going to be, but it was still an absolutely terrible show. And what made the CW's Batwoman a terrible show was the fact that it was so bland, formulaic, and by the numbers that you could practically predict everything that was going to happen throughout the hour of the pilot. This pilot that was being designed to show the CW's first openly lesbian superhero did not have a lot of SJW cringe moments, but it didn't have anything special to offer the viewers. Now, your CW's Batwoman's premise follows the same failed premise as the WB's Birds of Prey, in an effort to try to make the Batwoman the hero of Gotham City. Now, in Birds of Prey, which was, I believe, in 2002 or 2003, it was stated that Batman had left Gotham City. And it's this premise that made Birds of Prey fall completely apart, and it's this premise that makes Batwoman fall completely apart, because most Batman fans know that Batman does not leave Gotham City, and the reason why Batman doesn't leave Gotham City is because after his parents were murdered, Bruce Wayne took an oath to defend Gotham City and fight all criminals. And it's this oath that Bruce holds and values dearly, so that even if he does leave to go and do things like take on some international bad guys like Ra's al Ghul, he always makes sure that Gotham City is protected. So Bruce would not leave Gotham City and abandon it as is stated in this premise. It just does not work, because anybody who has read the Batman comics and the Batman lore know that Batman just does not up and abandon Gotham City. I mean, even in Batman Beyond, he stated to Terry McGinnis that he had his eye on numerous villains. Even though he could not actively be Batman, he still made efforts to protect Gotham City and maintain the oath he made to stop all criminals in Gotham City to the best of his ability and his health. But the Batwoman series wants us to believe that Bruce is just going to up and leave Gotham City, and then all of a sudden, here come the Crow's security, and they're going to replace the Batman. And this is a really weak premise as I see it, because what that says about the Gotham City Police Department is that the Gotham City Police Department is some kind of incompetent, that they have to hire a private security firm to come in and defend Gotham City. This is a premise that just does not work overall. When I watched it in action, it just was one of those premises that defied logic, because to have a private security firm come in and do the work of the police department shows how weak and ineffective that police department is as related to the criminals of Gotham City. But even the Crow security team seems to struggle, because even they can't get a handle on many of the psychopathic criminals, as we see in the case of the Batwoman's military-trained lesbian lover, who gets captured by one of the villains in the pilot episode. And as this episode goes on, we get introduced to, I believe her name is Kate Kane. She comes in. She's this bad girl with this masculine look, and she's supposed to be double tough, and she gets beat up by these people who are looking like Professor Pig in the masks and stuff, and it just doesn't work out. And then later on, she finds out that her cousin Bruce has the Batcave, and this whole series, it's just so formulaic and by the numbers. that it doesn't give you that incentive to continue watching. Now, there are some Berlanti elements here that show us that he is about trying to push the identity politics at the expense of story, and he still continues to show his continued contempt and disdain for black men by having, I believe, Luke Fox, the black guy, be a complete emasculated beta male chump that is pushed around by the more masculine acting Kate Kane. So in his efforts to try to push so-called diversity passively by having an Asian mayor and a lesbian heroine, what your Greg Berlanti does to black men is find a new way to emasculate him by saying that the women are stronger than this black man. So this is done to the black man in this show, and it fits right in line with the pattern of emasculation and degradation of black men, like the asexual Firestorm, the guardian of the friend zone, James Olsen, the black brute, Chuck Clayton, the butler, John Diggle, and your numerous other black characters on Greg Berlanti shows. They are all minimized, emasculated, asexualized, and made to appear to be ineffective. And your Luke Fox on Batwoman is another emasculated, asexualized, minimized black male meant to be the Kate Kane's butler in this Batwoman show. So he's a combination of all of the Greg Berlanti tropes that show his numerous issues with black men. And this really hurts the show because Luke Fox in the comic books is pretty tough and pretty masculine, but in this show, he's practically been effeminized and made into a butler. But that doesn't really help with Batwoman's whole show, because Batwoman's whole show is one of the blandest, most boring, uninspired shows as related to the Berlantiverse. Her visuals are very boring, the action is very by the numbers, and while many tout this show as some sort of step towards diversity, it really doesn't really give you anything exciting or compelling to watch in its entirety. The entire hour is a very flat hour, a very boring hour, and really does not set up an exciting story at all. In fact, it sets up a very, again, formulaic, boring, and predictable storyline. And I don't believe that storyline would finish on any other network, because after looking at this one episode, this show would drop in the ratings like a rock. Unfortunately, because this show is on the CW, I believe is going to do at least 2 or 3 seasons on the CW, because the CW usually stands behind really weak shows for long periods of time. And because the CW stands behind these shows, we're going to have to stomach a lot more Batwoman. And this show is one of the worst I've seen as related to the Berlantiverse shows, which are fairly mediocre in most cases. Now, with this Batwoman, I can't recommend this show, because this show, while it does not have heavy SJW identity politics tropes, is just a show that features bad writing, mediocre acting, poor cinematography, and flat character development, and is one that I believe, again, everybody needs to avoid, because when it comes down to superhero shows, there needs to be a higher bar of quality, and this show's bar has been set low from the first frame of shooting. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to try some of my books featuring heroines like the Isis series, the E-Steam series, the Spinsterella trilogy, and the Thetas, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.